How's it going, guys? If you're new to this channel, my name is Parker Nierenstein, and this is Vehicle Virgins. Today, I'm going to talk about the top 10 fastest cars in the world. But before we get started, I want to give a special thanks to our sponsor for the video, Auto Tempest. Now, I used to get asked all the time, hey Parker, I'm looking for a new or a used car. Where should I look online for cars for sale? And I had a pretty good answer for it. I had a bunch of websites that I personally enjoyed, but now it's changed. Auto Tempest has honestly completely changed the game. Instead of having to go onto a whole bunch of different sites to make sure that you see all the cars available nationwide, Auto Tempest searches a ton of them at once, like Cars.com, eBay, and a bunch more. If you're looking for a new or used car, Auto Tempest is the place to go. Check it out. I've got a link in the description, but make sure you watch this video first. And now we're on to the video, the top 10 fastest cars in the world. So to make this as unambiguous as possible, I'm breaking it up into two sections. The first 5 are the top fastest in terms of top speed, and then the second 5 are the quickest from 0 to 60 miles per hour. Number 1 is the Bugatti Chiron. Under the hood lies an 8-liter quad turbocharged W16 engine. Clearly, it's going to be fast. But the crazy part is that's more than twice the displacement and twice the amount of turbos as a hypercar, the McLaren P1. How ridiculous is that? So how much power does it make? 1,500 horsepower and 1,184 pound-feet of torque. That's good to push the car from 0 to 60 miles an hour in just 2.5 seconds. But what's crazier than that is that it does 0 to 200 miles an hour in 16 seconds. The absolute craziest spec about the Chiron is that the average customer, according to Bugatti, already owns 42 cars, 3 helicopters, 4 houses, a jet, and a very large yacht. If you thought you were doing well, you're just wrong. The official top speed of the Chiron is 261 miles an hour. Absolutely ridiculous. But what's more ridiculous than that is that that is electronically limited. The problem is there is currently no tire available in the world that can withstand the G-forces at the speeds the Chiron is capable of going. How's this for a fact? The valve stem caps on the Chiron weigh just 2.5 grams. Well, at 261 miles an hour, those same valve stem caps create the equivalent load of 7,000 grams. Science. Have no fear, designers at Michelin are working hard on producing a tire that's capable of demonstrating the Chiron top speed. The chief test driver of Bugatti actually believes the car is going to go over 280 miles an hour. I'd actually believe that. There's been rumors about 300 miles an hour, although that's extremely unlikely. However, if you're trying to go 300 miles an hour, Bugatti, I personally volunteer myself to install a nitrous oxide kit on the Veyron. I'm a professional licensed installer. It went really well the last time I tried that. Next on the list is the Hennessy Venom GT. For those who aren't familiar with this supercar, it is a hand-built, heavily modified version of a Lotus Exige. All they did was take an Exige, they poured Henny into the gas tank, they put a rattlesnake in the passenger seat, and there you have a Hennessy Venom GT. Actually, it has a twin-turbo LSX V8 that makes 1,244 horsepower and 1,155 pound-feet of torque. What's honestly more impressive than that is its curb weight is only 2,700 pounds. That is 1,600 pounds lighter than the Bugatti Chiron. Unofficially, the top speed of the Hennessy Venom GT is 270.5 miles per hour. Now, why do I say unofficially? Well, 2 reasons. The first is that to officially set a Guinness Book of World Record, the car has to make a pass both directions and you take the average speed. That's because if there's heavy wind that day, of course you could just run the car downwind, it would get a lot faster time. But then if you run it the other way, it's going to be much slower. So the Venom GT actually ran an average speed of 265 miles an hour, which wasn't good enough to beat the Bugatti Veyron Supersport, which I'll talk about a little later. The other issue is that the Guinness Book of World Records requires the manufacturer to make 30 cars to consider it a production vehicle for the record. Hennessy only built 13 of them, so not quite. Number 3 is the Bugatti Veyron Supersport. Now this car actually holds the official world record for highest top speed. That top speed was set at VW's test track, which I am not going to pronounce because it will be horrifying for you. The speed was 268 miles an hour. What? The Veyron Supersport also had a W16 engine, quad turbocharged, 1,200 horsepower. It's no wonder why, with its high price tag and its high top speed, that it was very popular amongst rappers. That's why I'm actually dropping my mixtape soon. It's going to be lit. And I'm going to buy a Veyron. Nope, not doing that. Fourth on the list is the SSC Ultimate Aero. In 2007, it hit a mind-blowing top speed of 257 miles an hour, coming from basically out of nowhere and besting the peasantly 1001 horsepower base model Bugatti Veyron. The most horrifying part of all of it is that the SSC Ultimate Aero doesn't have traction control and it doesn't have ABS. That's why SSC stands for Super Scary Car. Nope, that is the dumbest thing I've ever said. Fifth on the list is the Koenigsegg 1-to-1. With 1,340 horsepower and ridiculous looks, the 1-to-1 is, well, terrifying. When you see one of these in person, I've only seen one once, super awesome during Monterey Car Week, it makes you shiver like a Himalayan climber climbing Mount... No, this is a terrible analogy. Terrible analogy. It's a really freaking cool car. Yep, I like it. Koenigsegg actually didn't even set out to build a car to have a very high top speed. Apparently, that was just an added bonus. Now, they haven't been able to test the official top speed of the car because they don't have access to the NASA landing strip that Hennessy used, nor the facility that Bugatti used. Obviously, both of those companies are very unlikely to want the competition to use their stuff. Its theoretical top speed is 273 miles an hour. That is pretty damn fast. But at the same time, my theoretical weight is 160 pounds, and that's not true, so. Now let's discuss the fastest accelerating cars. The good thing about acceleration is you're unlikely to own a supercar or hypercar and be able to drive it over 250 miles an hour. If you are, that is awesome. All the power to you. I'm insanely jealous. But what you can do, what almost anyone can do, is do a 0 to 60 run. 0 to 60 times have become sort of a benchmark, bragging rights, an important spec when manufacturers produce the car and auto journalists test it. While it doesn't tell the full story of how fast a car is, some cars have pretty stellar times. So let's check them out. The fifth fastest car to 60 miles an hour is actually 5 cars at the same time. The Bugatti Chiron, the Bugatti Veyron, the Lamborghini Huracan, the Audi R8 V10, and the Porsche Turbo S all hit 60 miles an hour from a standstill in 2.5 seconds flat. What do all these cars have in common? They are all all-wheel drive. Having an all-wheel drive system and an appropriate launch control is very, very important to setting good 0 to 60 times. At this point, you're really just fighting for traction. And because all of these cars are using street-legal road tires, having all 4 wheels propelling the vehicle forward is definitely going to get you off the line faster. That being said, the next 2 cars on this list are rear-wheel drive. Completely disproves what I just said there. Yeah, so Road and Track recorded the Ferrari LaFerrari Ferrucci Lettuce Ferruccio from 0 to 60 miles an hour in just 2.4 seconds. How is it able to do this being rear-wheel drive? Well, I don't fully know the answer to that, but because it's mid-engine and it's also a hybrid powertrain, you've got the electric motor to provide instant torque off the line. Its 6.3-liter V12 combined with the electric motor makes 949 horsepower. That's a lot. It also sounds the best out of the 3 hypercars. Finding a used one will likely cost you a lot more than $3 million, so thankfully the next option is much more affordable. The third fastest car ever to 60 miles an hour is the Dodge Demon. With 840 horsepower and a quarter-mile time of just 9.6 seconds, it places itself firmly on the list of fastest accelerating cars. However, it's also the only car on this list that's using drag radials. As traction is a very, very large role in acceleration, using tires that aren't legal on the road is a bit unfair when comparing it to the rest of the cars that have road legal tires. The other issue is the Dodge Demon only produces 840 horsepower when it's using race fuel. The rest were on normal pump gas. It also has softer suspension in the rear for better weight transfer, to put more weight on the rear wheels for takeoff. It also has a trans brake, but you know what? All excuses aside, it still does 0 to 60 in 2.3 seconds, and that is out of this world fast. Second on this list, and the only all-electric car, is the Tesla Model S P100D with ludicrous mode. It's able to hit 60 miles an hour in 2.28 seconds. Thanks to its low center of gravity, its all-wheel drive, and instant torque off the line due to it being all electric, it's often seen destroying Lamborghini Aventadors and Ferrari F12s in short races at low speeds. That being said, at higher speeds, the electric motors become less efficient, and it's slower in the quarter mile than the majority of these cars on the list, like the LaFerrari, the Veyron, the Chiron, the Demon, or the Huracan, or the R8. Yeah, almost all of them. The world's fastest car to 60 miles an hour is the Porsche 918 Spyder. Car and Driver magazine recorded the 918 Spyder hitting 0 to 60 miles an hour in 2.2 seconds. What? Using Gypsy Magic, a hybrid powertrain, and all-wheel drive, and Porsche's brilliant launch control system and double clutch gearbox, the 918 is the fastest accelerating car to 60 miles an hour the world has ever seen. It was also the king of the Nürburgring until the Huracan Performante came around. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're new to the channel, I'm trying to hit 1 million subscribers by the end of September. If you enjoyed the video, hit that subscribe button, tell a friend. As always, I look forward to seeing you next video.